Luminosity, not Luminosity. It is so good to be with you. We're back again. It's been a year.
I'm absolutely buzzing.
I am.
I love breakfast.
So do I. And you know what? It's the same show as last year. New name. Last year, Crumpet, Cereal and Chat. This year, Good Morning Luminosity. But it's got a fresh feel.
We're getting better.
We're going up in the world. We've got a new studio, a new set. We've got more going on. Last year we had one camera. This year we've got 4. Unbelievable.
And who are you?
I'm Joel Barwick.
I'm Alicia Barwick. If you've not met us before, that is who we are. We are here to lead you through breakfast this morning.
Absolutely.
Feel free to go grab a coffee. What would you, actually,
Ooh.
In the chat, what is your ideal breakfast?
Wow,
because
ideal breakfast.
Not only are we going to let you have breakfast, we're actually going to cook breakfast with our very own Lino De Campo.
Lino De Campo, everybody! Our breakfast chef, every single morning at Good Morning Luminosity, Lee is going to be cooking us a special breakfast.
And we'll find out what that breakfast is later. But what we're going to do this morning...
We're going to have lots of fun and games. We're going to be chatting to a guest this morning as well. And we're going to be watching Lee cook breakfast and eat breakfast. But, you know, we envision you guys are watching this. Most of you probably just woken up. You've, like, just turned out of bed and, like, turned your phone on and we're, like, there on it there. Maybe you're sat with your youth group. Maybe you're with your family. I don't know. We'd love to know how you're watching this. Put it down in the comments. Are you in bed right now? Are you getting changed? Are you in your living room? Are you in your tent? Well, you know, just, like, it's just morning television, you know. Like, sometimes I wake up in the morning. Alicia's up before me. I stumble into the living room. She's got Good Morning Britain on. And she's watching it, doing her makeup, and I'm just like, what's going on here? And there's some crazy story about something going on in London. Anyway.
And you don't really eat breakfast?
I don't. I normally just have a coffee, really. But then I overload on lunch. That's my issue.
Amazing. Well, how good was last night?
It was amazing.
It was absolutely
amazing.
What a night. And what's even better is last night we talked all about prayer. We talked about creativity. We talked about how God is with us, how his power is in his presence. This morning, we're talking about prayer.
Fantastic. We're going to continue to unpack the theme of prayer.
Yeah.
What is it? What are the sort of the barriers that stop us from praying? How do we feel about it? All that sort of stuff. And we've got an expert on prayer joining us this morning, but you're going to meet him soon, very soon. But one thing that we want to say is, I know there's loads of you watching this right now, but all I see is a camera, and there's about 15 people in this room. So we need to get some feedback. People in the room. There's a few of us.
There are hype men.
But we don't know exactly what's going on. And we loved in the chat last night people saying what was going on in their lives, a bit of testimony about God healing people and all this sort of stuff. We want to keep hearing that. So please keep chatting to us. Let us know in the chat what's going on. Something really amazing's happened. You've got a great testimony. Send us a message on Instagram. We'll reply to it there. We want to hear all these sort of things. Please keep talking to us. We want to know what God's doing in your life. So please, please let us know.
Absolutely.
Right.
Should we go into a game?
Should we crack on with a game? Let's do it. We're going to play two-word tango. Woo! Okay, contestants, can you come up, please? We've got Josh Rouse.
The worship leader.
The worship leader this week. Up you come, Josh. Come and stand here for me, please, mate. We've got
Beth Burbage.
Beth Burbage. Up you come, Beth.
We'll be seeing a lot of Beth today, actually.
She's going to be preaching to us later. We've got Daisy Robinson. Come on, Daisy. And last,
our very own York contingent, David Kelsall.
Dave Kelsall. Here we are. Right, okay. Bunch up. So this game is called Two-Word Tango. What's going to happen is there's going to be a little track played in a second. And it's going to go like this. Pete, could you play the track for us, please? Okay, so when on the clicks, these guys have got to say a book in the Bible, okay? It's going to keep going. If they either mumble and, don't get it right, then they get pied. If they forget it, they get pied. And it keeps going until someone does that and we have one winner left.
And if they repeat a book in the Bible that someone else has said, they get pied.
They do. So Daisy,
last man standing.
How confident are you feeling?
Not very. No, actually, no. Yeah, I'm so confident. Yeah.
That was a U-turn.
Yeah.
Dave, are you confident in your knowledge of the Bible that you can know it more than these three here?
Yes.
Wow.
Very confident. To your right. Beth, how do you feel?
I feel literally sick.
Wow, Beth's dreading getting a pie in the face. Josh, how do you feel?
Strong.
Oh.
Strong. Josh feels strong.
You are strong, Josh. You are strong.
Okay, I'm going to grab a pie in preparation. I've got the pie ready here. Here it is. This is what is going to be going into these guys' face if they get it wrong. You want it bigger, Dave? Paul, load up the pies. Get them bigger, my friend. Paul's on pie duty this morning.
Joel, are you wanting me to be on mic duty so you can do the pieing?
I'll do the pieing, you walk around and do the micing.
Got it.
Fantastic. Okay, have we explained the game and do we all get it? You all understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to go books in the Bible, don't repeat anybody else's book, don't mumble, don't get it wrong, or you will get pied. Okay, Pete, are you ready? We're going to start with Daisy. Are we going to go down the line?
I'm ready.
And then we're going to go back to Daisy.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay.
Daisy, we're starting with you.
Ready when you are, Pete.
Genesis.
1 Chronicles.
Matthew.
Isaiah.
Mark.
Psalms.
Luke.
Exodus.
Revelation.
Proverbs.
Wow.
John.
1 Timothy.
1 John.
Ecclesiastes.
Acts.
2 Timothy.
These guys are too good.
2 John.
Ephesians.
Romans.
1 Kings.
Oh my gosh.
Amos.
1 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians.
2 Kings.
Nehemiah.
Galatians.
Philippians.
Joel.
Oh my life. Let's get in! Okay, look this way, Daisy. Which camera should we look at? Okay, out of the way a sec, Josh, if you move back.
Daisy, before this, was absolutely convinced she wasn't going to get pied.
There we are, Daisy. Well played. Please go take a seat. Thank you. Take your pie with you. Okay.
Okay, we're 3 people down.
I'll get the next pie. These guys are doing so well.
Woo. Guys, you've got to remember what's been said. Not only that, but also I do too.
We are carrying on. Okay.
Philemon.
Ruth.
Hebrews.
Jude.
Esther.
Leviticus.
Hey! Dave, what happened to your confidence?
It's gone. It's gone.
All gone.
Misplaced.
Unlucky, mate. Are we ready?
Woo!
Welcome to the Luminosity studio. Dave! Ah! Dave, you cheeky whatnot. Fantastic. Okay, let me get the next pie.
Okay, is it going to be Beth that wins this game, or is it going to be Josh? We've got Beth preaching and Josh leading worship. Who knows the Bible better?
Oh, the preacher or the worship leader? Let's find out.
Okay, are we ready? Job?
Well done, Beth!
Woo! Big round of applause for Beth.
Oh, no. Big round of applause for Beth, everyone.
Here it comes,
Josh.
mate. Oh, that's right in your quiff.
In the quiff. I'm so sorry about that, mate.
You need to leave.
Thank you, mate.
Enjoy,
Wow.
enjoy.
There we are.
You know what? That's not what I expected. Not gonna
No.
lie, I didn't think Beth was gonna win that.
No, neither did I. We've not heard from
just
Lino De
panicked.
Campo in a while. He's just been stood here like a lemon. Lino.
It's funny you should say that, because the one thing I needed to bring this morning was a lemon.
And you forgot it?
No, I forgot it, but I got a pineapple.
Oh,
That's
God.
65 pence, and you never guess where from.
Where?
M&S.
Oh,
Nothing
kidding.
is 65
Gosh.
pence in M&S.
That is good
Wow.
for M&S.
You should
That
stick
is
another
good
quid
for
on it
M&S.
at least, don't you?
Oh, at least, yeah. Absolutely. Well, Lee, since we're here and we're chatting to you, please tell us, what are you doing for breakfast for us this morning?
So this morning, we are going for a pancake.
Pancake.
Oh, Ooh.
We all love a pancake. Give us a ooh if you love a pancake in the building.
Now we're talking pancakes. There's some favourite pancake toppings out there.
Oh, definitely.
What are you going for?
Well, we've got loads of sugar. So we've got maple syrup. Look at that. Nutella. I mean, this is just my jar. I give the kids at home.
It's a big jar.
You know, the cheap one, but I have the real deal. Other products available. Look, that's in a week.
Goodness me.
I just get a massive spoon straight in. Next one, we have honey.
Oh.
We like a bit of honey.
Joel likes honey.
Yeah.
It's a blend of non-European honey.
Oh. So, okay.
Anyway, and then for the healthy ones, we have the pineapple.
On a pancake.
I've never had
Yeah.
pineapple on a pancake.
I can't wait to see you chop that.
Yeah, good point.
Pineapple on pizza's controversial.
What's your favourite pancake
Is pineapple
topping?
on pancake controversial? People think this is weird, but I like butter and sugar.
I'm just not a fan.
Butter and sugar together.
No, lemon
Bit
and
much.
sugar. Lemon and
Lemon
sugar.
and sugar. That is
Yes,
a classic.
Absolutely. Or your classic bacon, maple syrup.
So, Lee, say there's a young person at home right now who's thinking, oh, I'll cook along with Lee
Yeah, yeah.
when he cooks the pancakes. What ingredients do they need? And what sort of equipment do they need just so they can get ready for later when you do actually start cooking it?
First of all, you need a top-notch stove, so make sure you've got one of them in your kitchen. You also need an apron and the relevant utensils, you know, to mixing, flipping, all the rest of it. But, to cut a long story short, eggs, flour,
Oh, definitely don't put the plain flour on the hob.
and milk. No, whoa! And then Bob's your uncle. You've got a pancake, and then everything else is just like luxury.
Amazing.
Can't wait. I'm so
That is a
excited.
long story short. Thank you very much, Lino. I can't wait to start cooking that.
Should we go sit down?
Let's sit down. I need to grab my cue cards as well. So, every single morning at Good Morning Luminosity, we're going to have a guest here on the sofa. We're going to be chatting to them about relevant topics. They're going to be speaking into their lives, sharing their wisdom and knowledge with us. We're really excited about it. And this...
Sorry about that.
Lino wants some attention, I think. So this morning, we've got the very wonderful Phil Togwell joining us. Phil, in you come. Big round of applause for Phil, please. Phil, welcome to the Luminosity Studios.
Brilliant to be here.
It is so good to have you here, mate. Phil, tell us about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from?
Just down the road, Whitley Bay. That's where I live with my wife and my 3 daughters and our 2 dogs. And I work for 24/7 Prayer. So I've worked with them since 2005. I said I'd join for 1 year, and I'm still working with 24/7 Prayer.
That's
Wow.
Hijacked is the word that most of the staff of 24/7 Prayer describe their kind of employment.
There will be some young people watching this who weren't even born in 2005, I think. So, wow, you've been working
That's
there longer than
terrifying.
they've been alive.
Sorry.
That is amazing.
That's awesome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do day to day, what your role looks like?
Yeah, so my main responsibility is I lead what's called prayer spaces in schools. So it's kind of, it's prayer rooms. I mean, a lot of people will be familiar with a 24/7 prayer room, a creative space, perhaps in a church building. But these are similar in style, so lots of activities, lots of different ways to pray, but in a school classroom. And over the last 12 or 13 years, there's been 5,000 or 6,000 of these prayer spaces in schools.
Wow.
In more than 30 nations in the world. Just
Wow,
amazing.
come on, guys. That's awesome.
That is so cool.
That's so cool.
So, guys, if you've had a prayer space in your school, let us know in the chat. We'd love to know if one of you here have been in a prayer space in school. So, Phil, this topic of prayers coming up a lot so far in Luminosity. And obviously, you've been in church. Everyone knows about prayer. Lots of people pray. But sort of, it's almost one of those things that sometimes is talked about so much that you forget what it's actually about or what it really is. So, Phil, could you explain to us, what is prayer?
Huge subject. I wish I was here last night. The talk might help me. Prayer, it's about connection. It's about communion. You know, I think so often we limit prayer to asking for stuff. But ultimately, prayer is the thing that connects us to one another. You know, you guys are married. If Alicia was just asking you to do things all the time, Joel, I hope I'm not describing your marriage here, but you know, after a while it would get a bit tiring. That wouldn't help you grow in your relationship, would it? Communication takes all sorts of forms, and it's the same with prayer. You know, if our prayer life is limited to just asking for stuff, then the sense of relationship that we have with God doesn't grow. It becomes stale, it becomes boring. For me, prayer, it's the place where I get to really discover who I am and where I belong.
Wow.
That's awesome. The place where I belong. That's amazing, isn't it? I think prayer sometimes can be quite challenging for young people. It can potentially, like you say, be quite boring or seem quite boring. But what are some of the barriers you've sort of seen young people face in terms of prayer and prayer life?
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat, aren't we, when it comes to feeling intimidated about prayer or not knowing where to start. I remember as a family, when my daughters were really young, we used to sort of pray around the meal table, as a lot of families do. And when my youngest daughter, the first time she offered to pray, she must have been about 4 or 5. And we all held hands and closed our eyes around the dinner table. And there was this long silence while we waited for her to start praying. And eventually I opened my eyes and looked at her, and she looked back at me and said, "I don't know what to say, Daddy." And Jesus' disciples were exactly the same. You know, the only thing that the gospel writers record them asking Jesus to teach them is, how do we pray? You know, they didn't, as far as we're aware, ask Jesus, how do you raise people from the dead? How do you turn a packed lunch into enough to feed thousands of people? They might have done, but the gospel writers only record this one thing, the most important thing. Teach us to pray, because most of us feel like we don't know how to do it. You know? And so some of the barriers for us is we hear other Christians praying brilliant, eloquent, long, wordy prayers, and for those of us, perhaps particularly young people, feel intimidated by that and feel like, I don't know enough of the Bible to pack my prayer with. Or, you know, the ways, the forms of prayer that I've seen or heard, they just don't seem to work for me. That's not how I express myself. It's not how I communicate. So I think there's a whole bunch of barriers that we bump up against straight away when it comes to prayer, depending on the model of church that we're part of. And then we back away, which is the worst possible thing for our relationship with God.
Yeah, totally. I think one thing that young people face is that they want to pray, but they feel as though it's something which you're a Christian, so you should just know how to pray.
Sure.
It's not something which you can just like approach with curiosity, like, oh, how do I pray? Like they hear people up the front saying these really eloquent prayers which quote a Bible verse and say all these amazingly long words, and they're like, oh, I don't want to pray out loud because I can't pray like that, and my simple, small prayer isn't effective.
Yeah. Which is exactly what Jesus' disciples would have felt.
Yeah.
You know, these guys will have prayed every day of their lives. When they come to Jesus and say, teach us to pray, it's not that they've never prayed. They've been brought up in a tradition of prayer, but what they see in Jesus is something different to what they've got. Yeah. You know, what is it? Is it the intimacy? Probably yes. Is it the authority? Probably yes. Is it the frequency, then just the naturalness about the way that Jesus communicated? Probably yes. You know, the disciples clearly saw something in Jesus that they didn't have in themselves, which is why they asked him that question. The brilliant thing is Jesus immediately responds with, let me introduce you to my own prayer life. Pray like this, our Father, not just my Father, our Father. And so I think, you know, for those of you watching right now, if you feel like you don't know where to start with that question. Jesus, teach me to pray, because he's eager to draw you into his own prayer life.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, totally. It's not something that we just naturally should know how to do, something that we learn to do, and that's a good and okay thing. But also prayer doesn't just look like sitting down and closing your eyes and saying the Lord's Prayer, does it? How can young people learn to make prayer practical, Phil?
For sure. I've recently come across this thing called VARK. Google it, it's worth looking at. VARK. And what it stands for is visual, auditory, reading, writing, and kinesthetic. And what it describes is the way that we communicate with one another. You know, we don't just use words, but we use other forms as well. And I think all of those are valid in prayer. So some people are visual communicators. They like artwork. You know, they like movies. They like to go and see mountains. They like walking around cities. They're visually stimulating. And we can use all of those forms in prayer. You know, God speaks to us visually as well. Auditory. Some of us, we're really stimulated by music. You know what it's like when you listen to a piece of music and you feel something emotionally. It communicates something even without words.
Yeah.
Some people are the same in terms of their prayer life. When they listen to a piece of music, they join in with worship. They listen to someone speaking. Or perhaps the opposite, they like silence. And that's what stimulates them the most. The R is probably the obvious one. We read scripture. I love reading novels. I find it fascinating how often God speaks to me through reading novels. A line in a novel that I feel like the Holy Spirit has highlighted, you know. Sometimes, you know, you're walking down a street and you see a road sign, Victoria Avenue, and suddenly God speaks to you and your friend Victoria, pray for them. You know, people can communicate and hear from God in written forms like that. And then finally is the kinesthetic. I'm quite kinesthetic. I like to hold things, touch things. My wife thinks it's funny that I collect sticks and stones and objects wherever I go because they mean something to me. They represent something that I've done or something that God said to me, you know, and they become triggers for me in prayer as well. Physical touch, you know, is valuable. That's why in the Bible we read about laying hands on one another. It's an important part of affirmation, of belonging, of connection in prayer. It's a form of prayer. So I think we need to get creative in our prayer. And often what we find is as human beings, perhaps particularly as young people, we have a preference for one of those styles. And for those of you who are visual learners, communicators, stop talking and paint, draw, go for a walk and see what inspires you. You know, watch a movie. Finding Nemo is one of my favorite films, and God's spoken to me really clearly when I watched Finding Nemo. Now, I'm convinced that God wants to speak to us through all sorts of different ways. We just have to open our eyes, open our ears, be ready for the God who wants to speak.
Yeah, I absolutely love that because I think sort of what you're saying is give permission to know yourself well. Yeah. I remember when I was a young person, actually, I was struggling with prayer. I've just remembered this story. And I'm a massive external processor, so I can't really keep things in. I have to talk about stuff. And I remember my mentor at the time said to me, well, Jesus made you that way, so talk to him like that. And I think it's just really important to say, like, if you're someone who has to talk, to process things and talk to someone else, that's how you're going to communicate with Jesus.
Yeah.
If you're someone who thinks more inwardly and reflects on things, that's how you're going to reflect with Jesus. That's how you're going to pray. And if you're someone who loves to paint and dance, that's likely how you're going to connect with Jesus, right? So it's really important, like, take some time out, think about, how do I actually function? How do I act? Am I introverted? Am I extroverted? Because it's likely that your relationship with Jesus is going to reflect that and thrive in that place, right? That's kind of what you're saying. That's really interesting. I'm going to check out that VARK, V-A-R-K.
Absolutely.
It's really cool.
You got the next question, my dear?
I do have the next question. So we often hear about how prayer can work in lots of different ways, like what you've just said. And we think of prayer as sort of talking and communing with God. But there's also another aspect to prayer, which is listening to God. Do you want to sort of explain a little bit about what listening to God is, but also how do we do that?
Yeah. So my middle daughter was born profoundly deaf. And so she now wears these incredible little bits of technology called cochlear implants. And so when she takes them off, she can't hear anything at all. When she pops them on, she can hear. It's just an incredible bit of technology. When she was 2.5 when she had her first cochlear implant. And up until then, she'd just learned sign language. As a family, we'd been signing with her. And So we took her along to a specialist centre in London where they help children who have been deaf from birth to learn how to use cochlear implants. And while we were there, the manager of the centre said something to us that really stuck in my mind. Because up until then, Poppy had not heard anything. As soon as the implant went on, she could hear everything.
Wow.
Wow.
But she hadn't figured out what that everything was. You know, the noise of cars going by, people talking, birds singing outside, someone slamming a door. She had no way of discerning between all of that noise. And the manager of this centre said to us, Poppy can hear now, but she needs to learn how to listen.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between the two. And I think that's the key for that part of our prayer life. We can hear a whole lot of stuff. And we hear a whole lot of stuff in all of those VARK ways. We, especially young people, we hear a lot of stuff visually. We're bombarded with visual information throughout our daily life, and especially on the screens that we hold. We hear a lot of auditory stuff. Again, we're not really that comfortable with silence, and so we fill our lives with a lot of music noise, people noise, social media noise, school noise, whatever it is. We're bombarded with all sorts of written noise as well. And also experiences, you know, we're experience junkies. We want to touch things, do things, go places, experience things. And so we hear a lot of stuff in a lot of different ways, but listening requires some discernment. And a bit like you were saying, Alicia, we kind of need to narrow down and slow down and actually make space for some focus to sort of remove some of the noise and listen. And whether that is you're a visual learner and you remove everything else and you just take time to paint or to look at a book of paintings or go to an art gallery deliberately to listen. God, speak to me. You know, go for a walk. God, speak to me. Listen to a piece of music. God, speak to me. It's actually intentionally listening. It's a bit coming back to married life. You know what it's like. We hear one another loads, but it requires some conscious effort to actually focus our attention on one another and listen. That's when we really receive something from the other person. It's exactly the same with God.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not difficult. The great thing is God wants to speak.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
is speaking. So God is not far away, kind of waiting for us to pray the perfect prayer.
Yeah.
God is ready to run and to speak to us in all sorts of ways the moment we turn our attention to him.
Yeah, God is present, and we are the ones sometimes that get distracted, and we're the ones that tune sort of out. And I think it's really important to say, like, we can see God in everything. So sometimes we limit it, and we're like, oh, God's in this bit of my life, but he's not in this bit. Like, he's in my youth group, but he's not in my school. And like, it's really easy to sort of compartmentalize those things. I remember you were sharing a couple of weeks ago with me about how, like, you'd sort of learnt to look at a room and you can say, oh, there's this person in the room who I'm thankful for, like God's put them in my life, and there's this painting that was a gift, and like God's everywhere, right?
Totally.
And so, like, maybe even take some time this afternoon or in some time out if you're with your youth group. Just think, like, I'm surrounded right now with people where God is present because I'm thankful for these people, I'm thankful for these friendships, or I'm thankful for my youth worker, like the way that I've grown in my faith. Like, that's God in your life. And sometimes we think, oh, God's not with me, or I'm alone. But actually, prayer reminds us that God is present. We just need to focus our attention on him.
Totally. And I remember when I was younger, I used to think to pray, I'd have to literally like sit really still like this, like close my eyes and squeeze really tight, and like, and then I can speak to God, and then his presence is with me. And that's the only place I felt like I could connect with God. And I heard people saying like, oh yeah, sometimes I go on a walk and I speak to God. I'm like, how do you do that? Because like, how do you concentrate when like you're doing that? You know, like God's only with me when I'm doing this. But actually, I recently just had the revelation that God is always present, and the question is, how aware are we of his presence, not how present is he? And you can speak to God at any time. He's literally always listening and always with us. Are you just aware that he is always with you? And that really changed my prayer life, because it's a constant sort of communication. I chat to God for 5 seconds, or sometimes I'll sit down and I'll chat to God for 10 minutes, you know, and I thought that was really, really important for me. And that just changed my approach to my relationship with Jesus. It wasn't just in the quiet times when I'm like this, but it's literally all the time doing life with him everywhere. So he's with me. I'm at work, I'm at church, I'm at home, everywhere he is with me, and I can always speak to him. That
Yeah,
was big for me.
and we can sometimes even separate that to the point where it's like, I can't pray because I'm not with people that are Christian, or I'm not in a place where God is present. And I think in terms of like a relationship, if you just set time in the morning to pray, and then you like, that was the time you saw that person in your life, and then you didn't see them again. You just didn't speak to them. They were around, but you didn't speak to them apart from 5 minutes in the morning. That's not a relationship. Like, Jesus asks us for a relationship. That's a constant conversation. That's going back again and again. That's him speaking to us. That's us speaking to him. If I only spoke to you 5 minutes in the day and you were around in the house and I never spoke to you, you'd be like, is there a problem? Right? So that's the same with Jesus. We need to have a constant conversation with him.
Absolutely. And finally, Phil, there's one word that we want to talk about, and that is lament.
Yep.
Can you talk us about what is lament? What is it?
Yeah, lament is an important part of our prayer life, of our own lives. It's the expression of sorrow, of loss, of grief. It's what do we do with the stuff in our lives that's not okay? And sometimes I think we feel like we have to be okay to approach God. You know, I have to have dealt with my sin, with the stuff I've done wrong. I need to be happy to approach God, because God isn't going to want my anger. But you know, if you flop your Bible open in the middle, and you'll probably find Psalms. Half of Psalms is full of lament and sorrow and anger. You know, it'd be a bit weird perhaps if we had our worship leader. Where's our worship leader?
There he is.
There we go. Hello. It's Josh, isn't it? So if Josh came and said, oh, I've got a new song I want to lead us in, and start singing away, God, I really hate you. You've let me down again. You're such a loser. You know, the pastoral people in the room would be going, I think someone needs to talk to Josh a little bit later. He's got some issues. But half of Psalms are those kind of songs, you know, because that's what's going on in David's life, or the others who've written Psalms. That's their honest stuff. And they're in the Bible as a way of saying to us, it's okay to pray this way. Yeah. God is okay with our anger. God is okay with our pain. God is okay with our suffering. He's more than okay with that. He's present with us in it. You know, that's what Psalm 23 is all about. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of darkness, it feels like death. It's cold. I don't know the way forward. He's with me, you know. We mentioned prayer spaces in schools earlier, and one of the most honest prayers I've ever read in a classroom was written by a 13 or 14-year-old boy, and it was just 2 words, and I'm not going to say the first word, but it begins with F, and the second word was cancer. And one of the church leaders who was running this prayer space in a school, it was in a classroom, said to me, oh, should we remove that? Because, you know, it's a swear word, and, you know, we shouldn't have swear words in a prayer room, should you? And I said, no, you've got to keep it. Obviously, if it multiplies and we get lots of other pupils writing the same prayer, we might want to reduce it a little bit. But if you remove that prayer, what does it say to that boy? What it says is that's unacceptable. Are swear words unacceptable to God? I don't think so. In fact, I suspect there was an almighty echo from heaven, from God and every angel. I'm angry about cancer too. It breaks my heart. I'm furious about it. I'm with you in that anger and that sorrow. So I think we have to give ourselves permission and space to pray some angry prayers, and that is okay. The great thing is we don't stay angry. As we draw near to God, God rushes to be near us. And this incredible thing happens. Grace comes, like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, who is praying a prayer that he can see what's coming and he doesn't like it. And he desperately doesn't want to walk that route. But in the Message translation of that passage, there's this beautiful thing where it says, as we come near to God, God comes near to us. The focus shifts from us to God, and we begin to sense his grace. That is the magic of prayer. The focus shifts. It's not a choice that we make. It just somehow happens. We start praying about our stuff. We start talking about the things that we're wrestling with. And somehow the focus shifts. We become aware that God is here. And we begin to receive his grace. And then, like Jesus, we're able to say, yet not my will, but yours. Put it another way, I trust you.
Yeah.
You're enough for me. I don't like what I'm in right now. I'm not finding it easy. But you're enough for me. You know?
Yeah.
That's when we know we belong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. And I think it's important to realize that God is not afraid of our feelings. He's not scared of them. He doesn't want to only hear our good feelings or when we're really happy and glad with God. That's not the only time he wants to speak to us. He wants to speak to us all the time. And it's okay to feel angry with God and to feel like, oh, God, I don't feel like you're loving right now. And the amazing thing is when we feel like that and we go to God and we say, God, I'm annoyed at you about this that's going on in my life and I'm angry at you and I don't feel like you're loving. Often when that happens, we get reminded of his love. He shows us a new perspective on things. We physically experience that God is kind and gracious and loving, and we see how he's moving when we go with ourselves to him, and that's really important. So it's okay to feel like God isn't loving, but when we go and take that to him and spend time, often we discover that the truth is that he is actually loving.
Yeah.
And the natural desire would be, God, I'm angry at you and I'm annoyed with you right now, so I'm not going to speak to you. Okay, and sometimes that might happen. We might feel like that, and that's okay. But when we continue to do that, we push God away, and you don't allow him to continue to reveal his character to you. It's really important to go to God no matter how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The most honest you can be is in God's presence.
Absolutely.
And I think what you're describing as well is that it's not that we can sort of be difficult or controversial in like a group of people, but usually in the one-to-one with Jesus, we can be honest. Like you can write it down and you can say, I feel awful. I feel terrible. You can go to Jesus and you can just sit and cry. And you might not want to do that with a group of people. You might feel that's embarrassing, and I completely get that. But on your own, it's not embarrassing. And it's a place where God wants to meet you in your anguish. He wants to meet you in your doubt. He wants to meet you in your anger. And I think like there's full permission there to just express yourself in front of Jesus.
Awesome. Phil, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Before you go, well, you're actually going to stay whilst Lino DeCampo cooks his breakfast.
Can't wait. I'm hoping for a little.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
Joel.
starving. Oh.
You know when you said you had a
Eating it
big
now.
spoon, is that the big spoon you meant?
Pardon? What are you on about?
You got Nutella around your mouth, mate.
Yeah, well, you weren't meant to come here now.
I'm sorry. Well, I'll let you clean yourself up a sec because Phil's going to pray for us before we end this little segment. But Phil, will you pray for us and the young people in the chat? That would be amazing.
Yeah. Jesus, we love you and we're so grateful that you invite us to know the Father in heaven just as you know your Father in heaven. I pray now for each one of us, wherever we are in our bedrooms, at home, perhaps with youth groups at the moment, all sorts of different places. Thank you that you are with us too. I pray that you will meet every need. You'll wipe away every tear. You'll calm every storm. Forgive every sin. Bring peace right now. Hope for the future. We give to you this last 18 months. It's been really tough in all sorts of different ways. I pray that you'll help us to see with hope the future ahead. And we look forward to the ways you want to teach us more about prayer. Amen.
Amen. Phil, thank you so much. Big clap for Phil, please. Phil, stay here. You can stay because we're going to head over to Lino, who's stuffing his face with Nutella now. Lee, please start making pancakes for us. Show us what's going on.
Will do. So, hopefully everyone at home's got the right ingredients. I might need some more Nutella, if you don't mind. Basically, do you want me to carry on?
Yeah, you make us pancakes, mate. Show us. How
This could be a minor miracle before your own eyes here, because I don't even know how to make a pancake. However, what we're going to do is the trial and error method, okay? I'm not one for recipes. I'm one for chucking it in and seeing what happens.
Sorry, can we get a zoom in on Lee's mouth, please? Because
Also,
it's
we
absolutely
just had
disgusting.
a young person that's commented on the live
Good
chat
luck to that
saying,
camera there, Lee.
Lee just continues to lick the spoon while they peacefully pray. That's his way of prayer.
Please clean your mouth before you carry on.
It's
Feel
terrible.
ill just looking.
It is terrible. Quite far down the chin as well.
Well, you know. Anyway, if you're following a recipe, you do need some skills, but I'm not going to use the skills today because we're just going to see what happens, because I was really inspired by what Phil just shared. Because for me, I know I'm meant to be cooking. For me, I find a closeness to God when I am cooking. And I just love the creativity of God. And, you know, the fact that He gives us these wonderful ingredients, and you can mix them all together and make something beautiful out of it. It fills me with so much confidence, because that's exactly what He's done with me.
I don't know how beautiful those pancakes are going to be with that much flour.
You know, I'm not a mistake. He knows exactly the recipe that He had in mind when He created me.
That is very true.
I don't even have a recipe, but I can still create something of a culinary, you know, beauty. Yeah, so this is just flour and milk at the minute.
Green top milk? Does it need to be
sort
green
of
top?
measurements or?
Yeah, you need about 100 grams and 150 ml of milk. I think I might need a bit more milk. And then a couple of eggs in as well. I should have got a little... Oh,
The same person that commented about you eating the Nutella just said Lee's personality is just out of this world.
Well, that's the other thing, that there isn't another me anywhere.
Absolutely.
You
Well,
are
that's the
one of a
same for
kind.
all of us, isn't it? We're all one of a kind, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah.
We are, yeah.
Absolutely. So a couple of eggs here. You don't
Two
mind.
eggs.
You are cooking along with Lee right now. He is moving at speed, so...
Yeah, it's real speedy. Is that a hint?
Yeah, people must be really struggling to keep up with you, Lee.
Where's the whisk gone here?
You've probably stuck it in the Nutella jar.
I forgot all this.
Oh.
Now, so whisk your eggs up, and the key is to get lots of air in. Because there's no worse than a flat pancake. You want a good fluff in it. And that's all key in the whisking, right? Whisk your egg, and then watch this.
Whisk and pour. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, yeah.
That was pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, yeah, whisk and pour. It's the new method, actually.
Your draw's going to fall out the other side, so you should probably just...
I'll adjust your
Step back in.
drawers. I mean, your draw.
Oh, the draw, sorry. So we're mixing now the big mixture of flour, egg, and milk. To be honest, that's looking more like a cake. So
You've got to eat these, Phil.
I might need a bit more milk. Phil, what do you like cooking, Phil?
Just like that, yeah. I'm learning some tips right now.
Yeah. Does your pancake ever look like that? Mixture, yeah?
Exactly the same as that.
See? So it's a lovely colour.
Point it
let's
at that
get a
camera. Point it at
close-up. Yeah,
Isaac.
let's get a close-up
He'll
on
give
the
you a
old bowl.
close-up.
Free-range eggs.
That looks like an omelette.
And an omelette, it could well be an omelette. Are you meant to sweeten it up to make it a pancake? What do you do now?
Sorry.
Anyway, gas on.
Oh, squeak.
Sounds like a goose, doesn't it? If you are cooking this at home now, make sure you've got an adult supervisor or someone responsible.
Is the gas on?
The gas is... Yes, it's on. Right, we're getting hot now. And basically for this purpose...
No, sorry, has anyone got a fire extinguisher around, just in
Just in
case
case.
this goes wrong?
Listen, who's not prepared this? This is the best oil. It's a fry light spray. Basically 1 calorie every spray. I don't find 1 spray is enough. So, you need a lot of oil. Once that's hot, we're going to put the mixture in, and I'm going to use one of these What use is that? It's got an hole in. Never mind, never mind.
Have you got
There
a
we go.
pancake flipper, like a...
Oh, don't you worry, I've got a flipper. Yeah.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah. You're going to give me a minute, though. I've got to cook it. Something's burning. Oh, it's hot.
That's smoking.
Oh,
Yeah, it's because you put about 45 calories worth of oil in the pan.
It's all right, it's all right. There's nothing wrong with a bit of brown on your pancake. Right. Are we ready? Listen to this. Let me get the mic in.
There's no sound.
Do you want a bit of a...
Now, I always find, Lee,
Yeah?
that the first pancake never comes out well.
That's true.
Do you know why?
Why?
What's that?
Well, in my experience, and I've obviously got quite a bit of experience, it's all due to the oil in the pan situation.
Right.
Right temperature, right greasiness. Once you've perfected that, your pancakes will be slipping out like nothing.
Chocolate on your mouth.
What level of grease do you recommend?
Well, basically, what you want is you want to have a cooked pancake flying around the pan like a fish. That's the aim.
Right, that's the level we're aiming for. Okay.
At the minute, it's stuck.
And so, while you're cooking your pancake,
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're going to get your toppings out, so you're ready.
Yes, so actually, a guest, Phil, what would you like on your pancake?
Did you have syrup?
Do you know the one thing? Maple syrup, yeah.
do,
Is that
great.
right?
Maple syrup.
Lovely. And, hang on. I was gonna, hey, watch this. Oh, yes! Look at that. There we go.
Has this actually worked?
I think so. Oh!
Oh, do you know what?
Yes, are you ready?
So you chucked it all in at once.
I'm not gonna flip the first one
I'm disappointed about that.
because I think he's really hungry by the looks of
Are
it.
we making pancakes as in, like, crepes?
No, it's a slightly fatter crepe, so it's a
That's a
pancake.
crepe.
Oh, the gas has gone off. Whoa! Right, give us a minute. So we've got some lovely plates as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, vintage is in, retro. It's
Yeah,
your
yeah.
21st century, all that kind of. These plates are from the last century. They're coming back in now. So, Phil, you can have the red, the green. Oh,
Oh, I like that.
that or gets better.
Ooh.
No, you don't like that one.
I like that.
He
Tom.
likes that one.
That's very nice.
Right, we're going to go for that. And you'll need a knife and fork. Here we go. We're going to need a knife and fork. There we go. And you're going to have a bit... Ready? Here we go. Woo! Yes!
Hey!
Look at that. I'm just going to turn the heat up a bit because I don't want to give you egg poisoning, Phil.
Egg poisoning, that's a new one.
Is that a thing?
I've never been poisoned by an egg, have you?
Not that I know of, actually, no. No, but anyway, just give us a minute.
You guys going to share this with me, aren't you?
Pancake?
Yeah.
Well, it
Do
depends.
you want me to chop it up?
Yeah, we'll have...
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
What are you saying, Phil? You don't want the full thing?
Just if I'm going to go down, I want everyone to go down with me.
You're right.
That Nutella is beautiful. It's a good job you didn't want any, because it's gone. Right, here we go.
Got quite a lot of people on the live chat that like reading novels. Good old readers out there.
What's your favourite novel, Phil?
Ooh, that's a strong question.
That's a really difficult one. I have read a really brilliant novel recently called Gilead
Gilead.
by Marilyn Robinson. Lord of the Rings is always a classic. I like a bit of sci-fi,
Nice.
Ooh.
biographies. I like all sorts of things.
I'm reading Stig of the Dump right now.
Great.
He's been reading that for about 12 months.
I have, yeah.
Which is a book.
Got it from the kids section in Waterstones because I wanted to get back into reading and I thought I'd
Yeah,
start
we had
small.
to take him to the kids section in Waterstones.
Yeah, although I did
Didn't
finish
like the adult
Skellig.
section. Huh?
Finish Skellig.
Yes, you
That's
did.
good.
Yeah, yeah, they were good, yeah.
A lot of Harry Potter fans.
Lee, you putting the syrup on in the pan?
That's unusual.
You go for the pre-method and the post-method.
What's the benefit of having the syrup on in the pan?
Well, it's part of the cooking process. It just basically penetrates the pancake better. And then afterwards, it kind of flavours it a little bit more.
Right.
If you cook it too much, it kills the flavour. But what you want is it soaked in.
There's a lot of smoke coming out of your pan, right?
That's all right.
Some people are saying, Lee, that they'd quite like you to start your own TV comedy show called Lee and the Nutella.
Oh, well, I think, you know,
Liam the Nutella.
if anyone wants to offer me a contract on that.
I don't think it would work with that Nutella on your face.
Do you want me to bring it over to you?
Please, yeah, we'll gather. Phil, do you want to scoot yourself around a bit more?
Sure.
Table forward.
Yeah. Do you want to scooch around a bit, dear?
Yeah.
There we are.
And then I'll just give you a quick... Oh, look at that. Right, Phil, that's yours.
Thank you so much.
You
It's
enjoy
very
that.
kind.
Lord bless this food to our lips.
It
That
does.
does.
It doesn't look too bad, actually.
Yeah, you
He's
see?
only giving you a morsel. Can we get a close-up on how much pancake Phil has managed to
That's
get?
just the breakfast I was after.
Oh, gosh, you'll be stuffed after that, Phil.
I don't know if I want to risk
Is
more
he
than that.
taking
So
the mix?
That's true.
I had 5 minutes notice.
can't do too much damage, can I?
And Lee, when we're eating, can you get another one on, please? I think we need a pancake
Yeah, I'll
flipping
just
competition.
crack 'em out.
Oh, amazing.
There you are.
I need to put my mic down.
Yeah, you put that down.
We're going to do this all at the same time.
Yeah.
More like a...
Oh, and give us a verdict. Look at that.
Do
Thank
like
you
the
very much.
MasterChef thing where you kind of give it a good taste and...
Right.
Ready?
One sec. I'm just going to go all in one, I think.
All in one?
All in one. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
That's greedy, isn't it?
What do you think?
Bit
So, if it's salty,
stodgy.
Stodgy.
It's a little bit stodgy.
Mine is stodgy, and there wasn't enough syrup on it.
And you went all in as well. I definitely could have done that.
Just didn't. I put it all in. Thank you.
so ungrateful.
That's better.
I'm going to do
I'd
a
have
thin
another.
one.
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Get another one on.
Yeah.
please. There's a whole team to feed here. There's 20 people here who need one too. Goodness.
What do you like on a pancake?
Nutella. The problem is, I think it's all gone. Yeah. Now, to be honest, I like pancakes on a Saturday morning. I don't know why. It just
Saturday.
feels like a Saturday thing.
Yeah, it's a treat really, a pancake, isn't it? If you had pancakes every day,
Yeah.
it wouldn't feel as special, would it?
It would be, especially in my house in these conditions. Look at this.
They fill you up for the whole day, I find.
Dear. Yeah.
Especially when they're stodgy like that.
These ones would.
Right, so you want it thin, dear.
Bit thinner.
I know what the problem was.
But I think. Oh. Fried milk.
I think we should rate this out of 10.
Oh.
Oh, Lee! That is going to take so long to clean.
You're cleaning that.
Wait, do you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen is we're going to do the rest of these Good Morning Luminosities, and then on the last morning, Lee is going to find that and he's going to make someone eat it.
Do you know what we should do?
What?
How much we got left have we got? We should do a pancake
Got
toss.
5 minutes.
But yeah,
5 minutes,
we need
right.
we need a tossing competition.
We do indeed. I'm going to thin this out. It's like decorating.
Oh.
If paint's too thick, you need to put a bit of white spirit in.
Is that true?
Oh, that's
Not a
really
pancake.
thin.
Decorating tips as well as cooking tips this morning. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. Maybe it's the oil. I don't know. Right.
Oh, there was a little sizzle
There
there.
was a-
Ah, you see.
I heard the sizzle.
Hey, this is flat.
Not enough.
It's flat. Not enough. Right. Right.
Looks like liquid.
Whoa, that's thick.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, it does look like liquid.
Okay, we're going. But no, I do find cooking absolutely marvellous for praying.
Right.
Because it kind of takes me in a different world.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at the minute, I'm not the best at multitasking at the best of times.
Really?
So, cooking and talking isn't usually my thing. So when I cook, I like to be quiet, which takes me in a different world to be at one with the Lord.
In conversation with the Lord.
In conversation, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That is really lovely, actually.
it is. And then, you know, I open the spice cupboard and I see an eclectic mix of different spices from all over the world, which is incredible, isn't it? God's such a creator.
Oh.
And then I find myself, like you were saying, Phil, when you go to places and you pick stones up and rocks and sticks and things, I find myself thanking God for all of the things that He's created that we can enjoy. And in cooking and in eating, we're able to give the thanks and praise back to God.
Wow,
It's amazing.
that is amazing.
Oh, we said that same time.
Finish each other's sandwiches.
Hey, this is looking stodgy.
Can we get a close-up on this pancake?
Yeah.
You might hold it up for the camera, Lee. Down there.
Down.
Yeah.
Lee, you've got 3 minutes.
All right, don't
Literally
you
got
worry
3
about
minutes.
me.
Whilst you're finishing off that pancake, Lee,
Yeah.
I think what we'll do is, could we please get the schedule up, please? And we'll chat to you about what else is going on today. We've got a very exciting day coming up. After this, we have got the morning celebration. There you are, 11 o'clock this morning. Beth Burbage is preaching to us. Give us a whoop for Beth.
The winner of Two-Word Tango.
The winner of Two-Word Tango. She really does know her Bible, so just as well she's preaching. And then after that, the workshops will be released. And the workshops today are Beth Burbage on discipleship, back again for a workshop. Izzy from Open Doors on gender justice. And we've got Ollie Latham on social media. They are all
That's a
fantastic.
good lineup.
And do you know what? An extra addition to the program this year, we have got a live panel of people who filmed the workshops, but also some of the Luminosity team who are going to be answering questions on the workshop. So once you've watched your workshop, head over to the Instagram and there'll be a little box where you can put your questions in for the panel to answer. And then after that, we've got the evening celebration
We do.
and then the after hours.
Yeah,
Jam-packed
it's gonna be
day.
good. Loved After Hours last night. I was sat on that seat over there just laughing.
It was
Very
fantastic.
funny. You did a good job. In fact,
you,
actually, I
dear.
was going to say, your skin's looking lovely after that face mask.
Yeah, no, I did wake up this morning feeling quite glowy, actually.
Oh, glowy.
Yeah. So, right, let's wrap this thing up.
He's got back to Nutella.
Is it ready to flip?
It's ready.
Oh,
Who's
Looks
flipping it?
burnt. I'll give a flip.
oh, here we go.
Oh,
Got it.
yeah, I got that.
Ready. Oh, that was a bit low. Come on.
Come on.
All right, sorry.
Oh. Oh!
There, Alicia, do you want to go?
No.
Phil, do you want to go flipping? Okay. This one could go well. I'm going to flip it, going to do a 360
I knew
spin,
you
and
were
I'm going to
gonna
catch
do
it,
that.
okay? This pan is boiling hot, so worst goes to worst. I'm going to burn my face.
Worst comes to worst.
Worst comes to worst. So. What's that? You got to get that. You got to get
Oh,
it right.
gosh, this is going to end on the confetti. Oh!
Oh! Oh! Sorry, Lee. You okay?
You just lost your lid of the fry light.
God, you're going to have to wrap it
You
up.
burnt up. Put your hand in the pancake mix. That'll cool it
yeah.
down. Brilliant. Alicia, up you come, dear.
I'm coming. Oh.
That is all for Good Morning Luminosity today. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, but enjoy the rest of the schedule for today. It's going to be fantastic. Phil, thank you so much for speaking
thank
to us.
you
Big
so
round of
much,
applause for Phil.
It's been amazing. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye.